So today's video is going to be about some things that I really wish were left back in 2024, and we still have the ability to stop them today. But before I do that, this is the Dutch word or phrase of the video. It kind of matches this video a little bit. My husband suggested this one, and it is zo gek als een door. I think I'm pronouncing that wrong still because I have a Canadian accent, but zo gek als een door. It basically means as crazy as a hatter, or mad as a hatter. I guess it's an old Dutch phrase. I spent about 20 minutes trying to pronounce door, and it still comes out weird. It's dur. So God. My accent doesn't allow me to do proper Dutch. Zo gek als een door. I'm sure if I said it faster it'd be better, but anyway, that is the Dutch phrase of the video. So now we can move on with what this video is actually about. These are things that I really want to stay out of 2025, and they've already kind of encroached into 2025. They are honestly things that bother me. My opinions are not going to be anyone else's opinions, of course, but these things just really bother me when it comes to the book community as a whole, not just on BookTube, but I'm talking Book Talk, Bookstagram, Book Threads, Book Twitter, whatever. Just things that bother me just a little bit about the book community, and I really want these little trends to just die off in 2025. So we're gonna start off with one that is everywhere, and people do not agree with me on this one. Some people do, some people don't, and that's completely fine. But that is the genre of romantasy. This bothers me so much. And the reason why it bothers me is because it is the only genre of fantasy that has its own genre. It is not its own genre, it is a subgenre. That's like saying high fantasy has its own section in the bookstore. It doesn't. Romantasy doesn't have its own section in the bookstore. It's all in the fantasy area. So calling romantasy a genre bothers me. Whoever crawled out of Sarah J. Maas's ass and all of a sudden started calling her books romantasy books, they need to go to prison.
Right to jail, right away.
Like, even like Goodreads, they're starting to do the romantasy genre now in their yearly like awards. So annoying. I'm sorry. I know that romantic fantasy is a huge genre right now. I'm so aware, but it's not its own genre. It's just not. And maybe I'm being sensitive about it. I don't know. Romantasy is literally just a buzzword to get you to buy more. It's a marketing ploy. That's all it is. And we should be looking at it as such, because most of these romantasy series aren't even that good. And they're written by problematic authors. So that's just my opinion. Speaking of romantasy, in our romantic fantasy books, can we have something other than a shadow daddy? Anything else will do. Literally anything else will do. Not every single fantasy book needs to have a supposedly hot guy who can control shadows, because they all do the exact same thing. And coming from my soul, one of my favorite book series has a shadow daddy. No. Stop it. Get some help. You can literally do anything else. There are so many different elements that you could work with. How about a fire daddy? How about a blood daddy that can literally like evaporate all the blood out of somebody's body? Imagine that for a second. A touch her and die situation. MMC catches a guy going after his woman or his partner. It doesn't have to be a woman. His partner. And all of a sudden, the guy basically shrinks in like a human-sized shrunken head because all of his blood's gone. That's the ultimate touch her and die. Or, I mean, again, coming from my dark, romance girlies over here, what about a suffocation daddy? Hand necklaces without hand necklaces? Breath play, anyone? But no, honestly, all of the shadow daddies are the exact same. They're all really hot. They're all really gothic. They all envelop the FMC in their shadows and make her forget the world exists. Can we all fuck off now? So overdone, so overplayed, so sick of it. That's why I kind of strayed away from romantic fantasy a little bit, because there's no, for a fantasy genre, You can literally make up anything, and it just seems like everybody goes to the thing that's gonna sell before actually thinking about their story, and it really bothers me. But so can we just, like, for a year not have a single romance in the fantasy genre that has a shadow daddy? I would love to see it. So the next one is probably exclusively for Book Talk. I saw these all over the place last year, and I saw a couple of them like this month. I guess they're becoming a resurgence, and I really hope they're not. I really hope maybe they're just older videos, or people are just trying to revive it and it's not working. But silent book reviews. Because all it is people, they hold up a book and they go, and they that's all they do. Or like if they hate one, they'll go, like, do you know how stupid you look? They don't do it just for one book. They get like a stack, and it goes on for like 5 minutes, and it's like no one cares. Like, you're sticking your tongue out at a book, you're hitting the book and not saying anything and just making faces. That needs to end. That needs to go away. It just needs to go away. This one bothers me specifically because I'm a person who I know that, like, especially fantasy novels and like some dark romance, they're really thick, like thick books, right? Like the fantasy book I'm reading right now is about 800 pages long, okay? I understand how long books can be, but it gives you no right to only read the dialogue. That's one that needs to go as well. Reading just the dialogue is so, like, it's crazy to me. It's absolutely nuts how people can just go on about their day knowing that they finished a 700-page book, or hell, even a 100-page book, and they finished it in 20 minutes because all they did was read the dialogue. You're not learning anything about the story at that point. You're not getting any of the good stuff. You're getting literally zero of the good stuff. And when I say the good stuff, I mean like the slow burn in a romance. That doesn't have any dialogue to it. It's all about how the author writes the characters. It's all about how the tension builds and the circumstances surrounding them. Hell, even the shadow daddies have atmospheric situations around them that you're not gonna get just by reading the dialogue. It just doesn't happen. I don't know why people started like putting this out there and saying like this is what they do and this is great and, you know, all this shit. Like I read so much faster with this. Of course you do, because you're literally reading a third of the book.
Right, quit bragging.
And another thing that ties into this is skipping paragraphs. Again, I understand. I've read some super long paragraphs when it comes to certain books. Like, I literally read a 2-page paragraph about a dude talking about what he wanted to do to the FMC, like super detailed and really cringeworthy. Did that recently. Did I skip any of it? No, because just in case something came up in there that was really good, I needed to read it. Why are we skipping whole paragraphs? Why are we skipping whole pages? Like, you might as well just DNF the book at that point. Just DNF the whole book and say you weren't enjoying it. It just doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Why would you only read the dialogue or skip huge paragraphs and just miss out on some of the things that are happening in those paragraphs? So this one goes back to bookstores, I think. The next one goes back to bookstores. That is Book Talk recommended tables. Every single time I walk into a bookstore, the first thing I see is Book Talk recommends. And it's all the same books and all the same popular authors. Like, I walked into my bookstore, like my local bookstore the other day, and the books that were on there were Anna Huang's Twisted Games or Twisted Love series, which is like 5 years old. Maybe a little less, but it's like around 5 years old, something like that. That was on there, the whole series. ACOTAR was on there. That series is like 10 years old.
You gotta move on. You gotta move on.
Always, there's at least 3 Colleen Hoover books. And I'm sorry, who's reading Colleen Hoover nowadays? Who is actually reading Colleen Hoover? Because she's not even on like my Book Talk recommendations on my phone anymore, on the app. I don't see her anywhere on Book Talk. I don't see her anywhere on Instagram because it seems like people have finally woken up. There's that. And then Haunting and Hunting Adeline. Those are literally the 4 that I see on every single Book Talk recommendation table. Every single time. They never change. Those books never change. So why do we still have them? Those tables also really do not include some of the best indie books or indie authors that are out there right now. Like, one of my favorite indie authors right now is Ursa Dax. Her books aren't even in the bookstore. I have to order her books from Amazon because she's independent. Where's Courtney Summers on those books, on those tables? Courtney Summers' Sadie was one of the top selling books of that year that she released it. And it's nowhere. It's one of the most beautiful books I've ever read, and it's nowhere. What about Tiffany D. Jackson? Tiffany D. Jackson with Grown, Monday's Not Coming? Those books are extremely popular, but they're not on those recommended tables because they're not what's in right now. They're not what sells in the bookstores anymore. So, of course, there's gonna be Sarah J. Maas. And oh my God, can we just talk about how many times I've seen Fourth Wing in every single format possible on these tables? I completely forgot about that because, Jesus, Fourth Wing, again, all of them in different formats on the table. I walked in one day and there was only the four I mentioned and Fourth Wing plus Iron Flame and the new one, Onyx Storm. They were all on the table, but Fourth Wing was there 3 times. They had the special edition hardcover with the black edges. They had the exclusive one with the red cover, and then they had the paperback lined up. Why are you taking valuable space? I just don't understand it. Like, all of the same books. They're literally all of the same books on every single fucking table in every single bookstore. But all these other authors who really deserve a place on a table where people can see them are just getting overlooked because, ooh, Fourth Wing came out with their 3rd book, whatever. And I don't want people to think that I'm just shitting on their favorite books. I'm not, okay? Like, I know that these books are extremely popular. Like, I like Anna Huang. I do. I have both those series. I have the Twisted Love / Game series. I have the Kings series as well. I read Anna Huang. I love her. The rest of them, whatever. But I'm not saying that it's bad to like those books. I'm not saying that if one of those is your favorite, I'm not saying that you shouldn't read it or that it shouldn't be prominently displayed. I'm just saying that I miss when I walk into a bookstore and I see people just browsing the shelves, looking for their next read, getting pulled in by a cover, getting pulled in by a title, like searching through, you know, the shelves for their favorite author, asking for recommendations on, you know, with other people, like having a conversation. Now everyone just flocks around those tables because all they care about is what's popular. I have to read the most popular book. Why? Why does everybody have to read the most popular book? Why? I miss the days before TikTok. It just seemed like people had minds of their own and they were able to make their own decisions instead of looking to TikTok to see what's popular and to read that. Tacking on to that long rant that I just had there, TikTok recommended stickers or things on top of on books that are like emblazoned on the cover. I have one of those books. I think it's I can't see it from here. It's all the way over there. Anyway, it says popular on Book Talk on it. Who the fuck cares? Her Soul to Take. That's the book. Just came to my brain. Her Soul to Take has an actual, like, it's not a sticker. It's printed on the cover. I can't get that shit off. And it says something like popular on TikTok or whatever, like TikTok bestseller, something. Book Talk sensation on the cover, whatever. Why is that necessary? Like, you're just getting clout because people on TikTok kind of, sort of, maybe read your book. And they were popular enough and they promoted it and now you had to emblazon it on your cover. I don't understand. TikTok has taken over a lot of things and maybe it's because I'm old. I don't know. Maybe I'm too old for this shit. That could definitely be it. I'm getting up there in age. You know what I mean? TikTok is not the be all end all. They are not the scoring grid for what's good in books. It's just not. The influencers on Book Talk are not the top tier of recommenders who can tell you which books are the best and which ones are shit. Like, again, I just missed when people would use their own intuition and they would just go and look for something that they think would be good instead of listening to influencers all the time and then just driving straight to the TikTok table or the TikTok sensations on book covers. The next one is something that I am guilty of and I am not going to be doing anymore. And that is leaving only 5-star reviews for favorite authors. One of my favorite authors, I'm currently reading the final book in the series, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck on it. I'm not really enjoying it. It's not hitting the way that the last book did. I got something spoiled for me that makes me very unhappy, and I have been off and on reading it for the last 3 months since it released, and I don't know when or if I'll finish it.
I am not okay!
I am usually an advocate for pumping up your favorite authors and making sure that their books get recognized. I really am still that person. But I think we also have to be honest when it comes to certain elements. I did this for book 3 of the series as well. Rated a 5-star, even though it didn't really do anything for me, but I wanted to support one of my favorite authors. So I'm not gonna be doing that anymore. If a favorite author of mine releases a book that I'm not really happy with, or there's something about it that I really don't like, or I find that's wrong, I'm going to be the first one to raise the flag and be like, you know what? That didn't do it for me, and not rate it a 5-star. It's gonna break my heart a little bit, of course, but I feel like as somebody who reviews books as a hobby, I also have that obligation to be honest. I can love a series and recommend the series. I can do that without loving every single word that's poured onto the page. I can leave an honest review that's not cruel, that still promotes the book in a good light, but it shows that it has some qualms about it. That there are some things in there that maybe won't be to everybody's liking, that weren't to my liking, and that's okay. But I think that we have to get out of the mindset of just throwing a 5-star on everything just because we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. Which leads me into my next point. If you are going to leave a review that is not great, stop tagging the author. Can we stop doing that? I thought that was common sense, but apparently it's not. Because I follow authors on my social media. Again, I only do book content. This is my main passion in life, books and just the written word in general. Like, that's my main passion in life. I don't really talk about anything else except for piercings and like body modifications, but still, I cannot believe the amount of messages and comments and tags that authors get when people just think that it's okay to write a really long, shitty review, 1-star review on a book, and then they tag the author.
The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the audacity, and the gumption.
Like, it's bad when they do it to really popular authors. I think the latest one that I saw was with Emily McIntyre. Very popular, very, very big author. Somebody had read Hex and didn't like it, and actually went and messaged her and said, your book was shit. What do you get out of that? There's also another thing to this. Don't message romance authors and ask where they get their inspiration for their spicy scenes. Like, can we stop being creepy to authors? I saw something today, I don't remember the author's name and I'm so sorry. So a fan found her personal Instagram page where she has photos of her family on there, and then messaged her and said, now I see where you get the inspiration for your spicy scenes.
Disgusting!
1, ew, and 2, where do you develop this audacity? If you have something shitty to say about a book, that's fine. I have left shitty reviews on books. I have left 1-star reviews. I have gone in and literally said, this book is not something that I would ever recommend to anybody, but I did not tag the author because they don't need to see that. It doesn't matter how bad you think the book is. It doesn't matter if the book enraged you, upset you, triggered you. It doesn't matter. You never go to the artist and tell them that they're shit, especially indie authors or debut authors. Like imagine that you did something and you posted it on social media for the first time and you were really proud of it, and then somebody went, oh my God, that's garbage. Just act with kindness and treat people. I cannot believe I have to say this in 2025. Because I was taught this as a toddler, and I'm assuming that most people were. Treat people the way that you would want to be treated. When you're leaving bad reviews, be objective about it. Don't just sit there and say that the book is shit and then tag the author. Just don't tag them. Unless the review is a 5-star read, don't tag the author. They do not need to see your criticism. They have already worked countless hours, days, months, years, decades to release this book. Editing Chris here, I'm going to change this up a little bit just by saying that the only time it's acceptable to put a 1-star review and tag the author is if they've committed an egregious act with their book or have done something extremely offensive. If we've all seen the book Threads thing on Threads, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is the only time that it is acceptable to tag the author in a 1-star review. Unless you love it with your whole heart and soul, don't tag them. You don't have to. It takes less effort to not tag them than it does to tag them. Do not be creepy. If you have a feeling that you want to say something to an author that could come across as creepy, I want you to stop and think for a second on how it would feel if somebody said that to you. Let's all just start using our common sense when it comes to authors. Whether we hate them, whether we love them, whether we are okay with them or whatever, it doesn't matter. Let's not tag them. Let's not be creepy. Don't be a dickhead. And the final one is what I like to call clickbait questions, and there's one in particular, okay? They're basically questions that are used to drudge up engagement. And the top question that I'm seeing floating around again is, do audiobooks count as reading?
Annoying.
One, I will block anybody who says that in any vicinity of mine. Even if I'm just scrolling and it pops up as a recommended, I'm blocking the person who said it. This question has been beaten to a pulp for the last decade or so. It's already been answered. The question has already been fucking answered. Okay? And two, it's very ableist of people who actually think that audiobooks are not considered reading anyway. It's a very ableist mindset. Because we have people who, one, can't read. They don't have that ability. Or are learning. But they like listening to stories, so they listen to an audiobook. We have people who are maybe blind and don't really want to sit down with a Braille book and read it. They'd rather listen to it. Or we maybe have people that are newly blind and are learning Braille, and it's easier to listen to an audiobook while reading along in Braille. Or maybe they just haven't had the ability to learn Braille yet. Does anyone know how long it takes to publish a book in fucking Braille? Do you know how many Braille books are available? Not very fucking many. So you're saying that blind people shouldn't enjoy books then? There are so many reasons for people to listen to audiobooks. I happen to be one of those people that sometimes need to listen to audiobooks. I have something majorly wrong with my hands. I can't hold books most of the time. Even holding my Kindle can be extremely painful. Using my remote on for my little swipey thing for my tablet and Kindle can be very painful. This motion can be very painful. So audiobooks sometimes are the only way I can listen to books. It's very ableist of people to literally ask this question with any amount of sincerity. Of course audiobooks are books. There's books in the title. But even then, way back before paper was invented and we had people around the fire, did they not share stories verbally? Isn't that the same thing? Reciting a story verbally to an audience to listen to, isn't that the same thing? That question, there's a couple other ones, but that one is just the one that bothers me. Tacking on to that, the other side of that is people who are like, oh, you only read so much a year because you're listening to audiobooks on 2 times the speed. Again, people have different comprehension levels. I listen to books on 1.75 to 2 times speed. I like to sit, if I'm listening to it on Spotify, I sit at 1.8. I like it there. It's nice. I personally cannot listen to a book in 1 time speed. They speak so fucking slow. And that's because my brain is working at a much faster pace when it comes to comprehending the English language. That's just what happens. I talk very fast as a person. I can't listen to somebody who talks like this with any kind of emotion. I can't do it. So yeah, I'm gonna listen on 1.8 to 2 times speed. It's just what happens. No one, if you wanna read books on 1 time speed, again, go for it. No one's gonna fucking judge you for that. But don't judge other people for reading at 2 times speed. The speed is there for a reason. And if somebody's listening to a book in 2 times speed, it's because they physically read the book in 2 times speed. The last one is gonna be a very controversial one. And that is something that I have spoken about many times on my social media, and that is promoting potentially or proven problematic authors. I am not sitting here saying that you cannot love these books. Not gonna do that, not gonna say that. You can love the books all you want. You can read them back to back to back. You can literally only read them. You can have 100 copies of every single book that you love, whether it comes from a problematic author or not. But we gotta stop promoting them. There are several authors out there who are known to be problematic, but their books are everywhere. They're all over the internet. They're making more money off of people promoting them, when in reality, they are extremely problematic. We all know about the newest one that just happened. We all know about that. And everyone is very quick to throw those books away. But some of their favorite authors, oh no. No, no, no. They'll promote those books until they're blue in the face. Because they're popular. It gets them views. And I have been accused of hating on a certain author because it's popular to hate on them. No. Trying to spread fucking awareness. Period. And honestly, if I ever show a problematic author in my videos, I want someone to tell me that they're problematic. Seriously. Tell me they're problematic. Because there's this little feature on YouTube, I can edit them out. I can remove a whole clip. Throw it away. Because my whole point to my platform is to make sure I'm not offending anybody. I never want to be a channel that offends people based on things that they cannot change. So gender, race, whether they're part of the LGBTQ community, etc. And if something that I'm talking about, an author, a book, whatever, does that has the potential to harm somebody, I don't want that in my video. I can love, it's a possibility that I have authors that I love that are known problematic people that I'm not aware of yet. I have had books in my home that I found out are problematic, and I have removed them from my shelves. I may love the books, but I remove them from view when I'm filming, because no one that is a problematic person needs to be promoted. Period. That's just where I'm coming from. So I think that we need to leave the mindset of promoting problematic authors in the past. You can still love those books. You can still read them. They brought you joy. They still bring you joy. But stop fucking posting about them. Anyway, that's the video, guys. I got a little passionate. I'm sorry. It's just these things I'm pretty passionate about because, again, I'm part of the book community, and, you know, it's hard to see things sometimes, but here we are. So yeah, I will see you all next week. Hopefully you guys have an amazing day, and I will see you guys later. Bye.